Dave, welcome to the podcast. It's been a
Hey,
minute.
it has, and I think your beard has grown 4 inches since I last seen you.
That's what happens when you go MIA. You know what I mean?
I
It's like
guess
that, that
so.
that guy that comes out of hiding.
We really haven't even talked, so I don't even know what happened week 2. Like, were you in the middle of something?
Dude, it was Christmas vacation. I didn't care anymore.
I didn't
Um,
even get a, hey, we're not doing it. I just was like,
well,
Wednesday came and went.
the week before you had text and I was like, oh shoot, we were like watching a family movie and like watching a movie because everybody's on Christmas break. And so then you and I ended up doing it late, right? And then I think that week that like nobody watched it, you know what I mean?
Oh
Like
yeah.
at first. And so then I was like, oh, you know what? I'm not super worried about it. And then literally it was like you never text and I was just like, screw it.
Well, I
So
usually don't. Usually just every week you're like, you tell me the time and then you say you're in, and it just never happened. But
it
anyway, we're here. We
it
got
could
through.
speak to some deep, dark depression that I mean, last year, Dave, we did it every week. My season was never like I was never gonna make the playoffs, so it was like I was just doing it for the fun of it. This
Yeah,
this past year, I was doing it
but
because I thought I had a chance to do
you made
something.
the playoffs, and then it was like you had a high and then you had a low. That's too bad.
Yeah. So, but we normally give away awards. So this is I don't know if it's a no-brainer, but I'll let you give your Miller Time Team of the Week as we this is I mean, we pushed this off a week. We were going to record last Wednesday, but then everything was in flux, so it just felt like, hey, we got to
Yeah,
come on here and acknowledge the fact.
the season's
Congratulations,
over.
Lee.
We got at least, yeah. I mean, I don't want to give it to Lee, but nobody else is. I guess the at worst I give it to Brennan for getting high points.
Yeah, but that
But
was all for nothing, right?
yeah, I mean, he got a 10-point high because like Lee scored like 70 points or so. It's like, but I mean, he was, yeah. What a horrible week 18. But
Yeah, and I will say, not to that extreme. Okay, not to the extreme that we had with the Bengals Bills game, but anytime that because a lot of times Rennie was talking about and we'll talk about, oh, I like having those Monday night people or like
yeah,
all those points that are kind of like, oh, I could get them right. It's like I like having
yeah,
the hope. It's like, oh, those points will come. Part of the thing of like deferred points is that like
yeah.
if that guy ends up not suiting up or if that guy leaves after the first snap and it can happen anytime during Sunday, just the fact that it happened on Monday Night Football at the end of
Yeah,
it, you know.
I could see if you're deciding between a defense or a kicker or a, a tight end that you've been streaming all, and you pick a Monday guy just because of that reason you're just talking about.
Yeah.
But Brian was going with Chase and her maybe Hurst and Gabe Davis. Like he'd been going with them all season. They
Yeah,
just happened to play
no.
on Monday.
It's just the fact that like, you know, to this was to the extreme, but like
Yeah,
anything can happen, right?
yeah. But it wasn't like it was one of those. There's no way he was like, well, they're. I mean, they were scheduled to play on Monday. Who knows how long ago, and
Yeah.
he had his team and he was playing the same guys all year. It just happened to be
So
that way.
what's your now a big ups to Brian for just being a real sport about the whole thing.
Yeah.
I,
Because it could have got
I'll
ugly.
I'll name two people in our league. If if that Monday night debacle happened and I was the one that was wrongly
Had three
affected,
guys left with a chance of coming back.
yeah, I might have made a little bit of noise,
I
but
think he.
nowhere near the amount of noise that our best friend Adam Russell would have made had he been on the losing side of that debacle. Like
You
I feel,
think?
oh, he would have petitioned Adam. You're listening to this. I have faith in you. You let us know in the chat what your recommendation would have been had it been you, because I think he would have came up with something to do with week 18, like, because we keep calling it it was week 17
Yeah.
that the debacle happened. So he would have wanted to do something with week 17 points. He would have maybe suggested we take a season average of
Yeah.
those
Well,
players.
he alluded to that with Brian's situation on his other league, and
Yeah. I saw a fantasy
and I
league. Did you see anybody? A fantasy league ran a simulated Madden game for their league,
really
and they used the points that were off of the simulated game.
see. I don't really like any of that, and the same reason I don't like how the NFL, flipped the script and changed the rule from winning percentage to coin flip, and it ended up not mattering because the Bengals took care of business. But like I mean, we really didn't have anything in place for
Yeah,
fantasy
so
other than we go with what what they decide, and they went with the NFL, decided that game didn't count, none of those points counted, and that's what we go with. I don't know how we would have to decide right now for next year if anything happens whether we'd use any of that kind of stuff, but I don't like doing that on the fly.
Yeah. So you're not the one that makes those decisions?
I no.
You're not the one that designates like who's
And
a tight end and who's a quarterback?
I can't think of any situation where we always don't just default to whatever ESPN decides. I don't go in and change points ever.
Wow. So
I
you
don't.
just blindly follow what the man says.
I kind of do.
Yeah.
I mean, if ESPN came out and they forced everybody to have a flex position and they didn't even have, a standard anymore, then we would go with that.
Hey, stop. Travis is going to get on the phone with somebody. So,
I mean, yeah, there's been no manipulation of rules. We've just always gone with whatever, the ESPN has it set. I don't have the power, nor have I ever gone in and changed anything.
so here's what we ended up just like, this is the part where it's like it kind of gets funny. It's like, not that it matters, but because like I don't think a lot of people pay attention to like the consolation rounds and stuff like that.
Like third place gets me nothing.
Yeah. But we ended up with Lee came in first. Brian, because of the Buffalo thing, came in second. Rat Trappers came in third. Travis VoteFlex came in fourth. Off all weekend. Our regular season champion Junior came in fifth. I came in sixth. Adam came in seventh, and Rennie, who was as hot as anybody going into the playoffs, came in eighth. Then we got Polk High School, the Lumberjacks, Sundance Kid, and Joe Burr. Ratty was fighting for the playoffs, thought he might have a chance, and then once the playoffs started, like just nosedive.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's hard. Like at that point, you don't really want to make. I mean, I've been there a few times. Not in the playoffs. You don't really want to make moves. You wait until all the playoff guys do, and then you might pick up somebody just to have a chance at high points. But you don't try to get anybody, and you're not really doing anything big.
Yeah.
But
So, Hillbilly of the week, if we go back to the end of the playoffs, it would probably go to the NFL just for the PR nightmare with how adamantly they were that no, we weren't going to tell them that they were going to go back and play.
Yeah.
And then how Goodell, like as somebody who like helps lead an organization and just like, I don't know, I think both you and I and others in this league, like we've worked with people and like been in leadership positions before. Like I cannot believe that he didn't Tuesday, Wednesday, like a press conference, like just get out in front of people and just say, hey, it's like, why is your operations guy doing all that? Like I don't know. Goodell to me,
it was odd.
And then they sat on it for so long, and then you were talking to Bengals players when they finally had their availability to the media, they were like, we're in the dark, we don't know anything. Like that whole thing, like it what I think we're all in agreement that tragic. We're happy that he's okay now. Like that was charted territory. So I give I give a pass for a lot of stuff that happened on the field, but just
they didn't. Yeah, the aftermath was a bit sketchy. That's for certain.
Yeah, and then so today was the first time. I don't know if you saw, or maybe yesterday is when I can't remember, but Joe Burrow was on with Colin, and he was saying that he brought up the Bengals because when they suggested the coin flip thing for neutral site, said that they wanted the same. I guess they had petitioned or said something that they wanted the same consideration for if they were going to play the Bills in the second round, and they basically were told no. So because they didn't get to play that game, because you know what I mean, the Bengals didn't get the opportunity to take this 2 seed instead of the 3 seed. They were like, well, maybe that if we played in the second round, if we ended up matching up, can that be a neutral site? And they were like, no.
It's just strange.
So, yeah.
Well, and you, I don't want to get, we've alluded to the Brian thing. He didn't just, Lee didn't just win because of that. I mean, there was a lot that had to happen for Brian to catch up.
Oh yeah. No,
I mean,
Brian
Lee
didn't
had
just hand it over.
Lee had a 30-point lead, and he had Diggs versus Chase, Knox, and Davis. So it wasn't like it was a gift, to Lee. I mean,
no, he was very gracious and not fighting it, pushing it.
Yeah, I mean, he had a lot of work to do, but yeah, it took it totally out of his hands, and could have, other people might have argued differently.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Adam would have been a complete.
Do you think you would have pushed for a split, just an even split?
Well, so Brian just jumped on right away and said, "Hey, I'm good with it. I'll take the L." Even if I was being sarcastic, I think I would have acted like I was being tortured.
Yeah.
I can't believe you're railroading me like this. I can't believe this. I think I would have threw you under the bus and called you a terrible commissioner. I think I would have done a lot of different things.
Yeah, you probably would.
Just being a general jerk.
It's a good thing it was Brian, and he's a better guy than you.
It is, yeah. Well, that's what happened. Like he's a pastor, you know what I mean? So he's like, oh wait, that's me.
Yeah, I don't even know what Brian does.
I think he works for Kroger. He does product stuff for Kroger.
He pushes carts around?
No,
he needs the money more than Lee.
No, I think he used to work for one of the beer companies, but now I think he works for Coca-Cola, but through Kroger. Does that make sense? Only in Kroger? I don't know. His wife works for what's his name? Yeah, King's Hawaiian Rolls.
Danny could have a beef about the $10 because he had high points because Boyd got a touchdown. And then it all went away.
Why would you pull the point? I guess the game never existed.
Yeah, so it's as if it didn't happen. So none of those points, which means I don't know. Some of those guys might be working on incentives.
Well,
Burrow.
But I believe that goes to percentage as well.
What's that?
I think that all goes back to percentage.
If they were working on an incentive for stats and stuff.
Yeah. One less game, so then it's based off of
Yeah, but somebody might have needed to overachieve to get it, rather than just whatever the average was. So yeah, there's a lot of. Bottom line, I guess the kid's back in Buffalo and he got released from the hospital, so can't beat that.
And the Bengals get a home playoff game against the Ravens team that looks like probably won't have Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, so. and they might have Huntley, but I'm not any more scared of really Huntley than I am of of whoever that guy that played last week. He wasn't any good. No. Huntley's probably better than him.
They just need. I feel
like the Bengals sort of laxed.
In the second half,
they got a lead.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they did get that kind of fluke gift touchdown, defensive touchdown that Huntley might not give them, but I don't know. I think they'll take care of business this weekend.
Oh man, who tries to throw at the 1 yard line?
That guy.
Yeah. So so all that was crazy. So as you were looking back, so what were you have any thoughts on the season? Just, I know you were traveling for work and stuff, but as you just kind of look back and reflect on just everything, it was this was a weird year, only in the sense that like our playoff teams were kind of locked early. Like there was nobody that,
Well, the big storyline went away week 1 of the playoffs because Junior, he was going to be on, but he's working on his house. Good job, Junior. We were going to have him on because he held on. He won the league champion. It was the year of Junior, and he made he's in the playoffs, and then he gets beat the first round, and it's like, well, the season of Junior is now over. And it was but so that whole dynamic of Junior staying on first place, Rennie making a run, you having a chance of making a run.
Brian has had some bad beats this season.
Well,
he couldn't beat Junior to help Rennie.
Yeah.
Because of that injury. Then he gets the Monday Night Football thing. So Junior, that was probably the most drama, that the final week of the regular season, just watching that. And then the top 4 seeds in the playoffs, they all lose week 1.
Yeah. So that put it, so I thought I had a pretty good shot week 2, and we talked right before you started hitting air, but I thought Justin Fields had a ceiling of 20.
Yeah.
Or a floor of 20, and apparently he had a floor of 11, and I needed like seven more points or so out of him. But that week 2, we didn't get a chance to talk about it because we didn't have a podcast, but that week was, for all of us were really trying, was really tough because all the weather, the freezing cold weather everywhere. You didn't know whether to play, teams were going to pass, whether they're, whether fumbles were going to happen, and it's like who to play. And I just thought, I knew Fields wasn't going to throw much, but I thought he'd at least run on Buffalo, and he got like no yards rushing, and I don't know how he even got 11 points, but
yeah,
I thought if he got 20 points like I thought he would, I would have won, but he didn't, so I didn't.
Yeah. So
and Travis went on to better days, and
yeah, and that set up for the Brian and Lee championship game that just never lived up to the hype. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But both those guys never made it, so we were going to get a first-time champion. Yeah. And so
have any of them ever got second? I can't remember.
No.
Or there's a first-time 1 and 2? Well, good. Yeah. Then it all worked out.
Yeah. Good for those guys, and it's fitting that Brian's probably had one of the best teams on paper all season long, but he's been snake bit by so many different things, and then he makes it to the championship game, and what happens? Snake bit again. So it's like, it's like, so just
there were, I posted the money breakdown finally. It took me a long time because I was doing 100 different things, but four different teams got over, actually came out ahead more than the $60 entry fee. So that's pretty tough to do when it means that usually that means whoever won the regular season didn't win 1 or 2. And then, I slipped in there by winning high points 4 times, but I think Travis was real close with 50, and then it was Rennie with 40, and then a drop off considerably from there. And then we had 3 guys that the story really well of not winning anything.
Ed, Danny, and Josh.
Yeah.
Hey,
shut out.
There's brighter days ahead.
And it would have been Brennan had that, the week 18 thing. It was, oh well. But yeah. So
well, but then it would have been Danny.
Yeah, like Brennan would have been down with 0.
So there still would have only been 3 guys.
Yeah, it still would have been just 3. So
yeah.
But yeah, I posted it on the group chat, like Lee and Brian.
Don't you get worried, like, because you take all this money that you don't give back to guys, the $60, the $30, or whatever dollars, and you invest all that in crypto and DraftKings, and then come like the time when you got to do the payout, like
I know, it's not there.
Yeah.
and that's why I can't give it back. I don't have it.
That's what I'm saying. Like Lee's gonna come for his money.
Yeah, no, yeah, and that's why. Well, I figured, anybody that gets over 60, I figure, well, maybe they want to buy something, with that money in commemoration of what they won, and
Yeah.
and then they'll come up with the 60 next August, but most people end up putting in and not having, so they don't have to worry about paying next year. But
So you're not giving me my $10 back?
I'm not giving you $10. No, that's not worth the Venmo push. I mean, if you really are desperate.
This is what I'm talking about, audience.
But I don't like Adam's idea. I don't want to get in on you and his, bets and non-payment and
he told me to use some of that winnings last season to buy beer for the podcast.
He was kidding, because you would have given it to him. You had the cash at B-Dubs. You were going to hand it to him. So you must not really thought he was serious. Why do you now think he's serious?
Well, I'm just telling him that I spent it all on beer. So I'm sorry, Adam.
Well, then he's definitely getting your $10.
Hey, this is just a reminder that side bets are a bad idea. That's why I didn't do any this year.
We didn't have. Nothing ever really materialized.
Yeah.
Brennan was you made a bet with Brennan, but
yeah, I did. I sent that.
And you paid him $20, and he for some reason
Brennan, and then Brennan sent it to you.
Because I kept supporting him.
Yeah.
And that's probably what my biggest one, outside of my own team not making as far as I wanted them to, me thinking Brennan's team was better than it was, and having him fall flat.
Week 17, he came through for you.
Week 17.
High points.
He did. See, it took him 17 weeks to prove that I was right.
And it's just like a little thank you.
Because it wasn't the reason I thought he had a good team. I thought Taylor was going to end up finally doing better, and he did for a hot minute. Once Brennan was out of it, and then he got hurt again, or they shut him down. So yeah, I think Brennan had Taylor. I don't know, maybe I'm mixing up, but
yeah, he had Taylor.
Yeah, because he had the number one pick. So yeah,
we'll get into that in a second. But
that was one of my downfalls, was trusting in Brennan. I thought his team was gonna do better, and it never materialized until week 17.
Yeah. So
although what was this? I think he scored 109, which might have been the lowest.
Yeah.
Of the high points.
Yeah. So
the next closest was 112 with Brian, week 7. So,
bar was set real low.
Barely gets you a win most other weeks, but it helps when you have 2 teams worth of people that their stats didn't even count.
Exactly.
And you thought they ended up being on bye and you didn't know it.
Yeah. So so we've talked about Brent. I mean, one of the obvious kind of busts of the season that jumps out is Brennan's selection of Taylor, which everybody would have taken. It's not like that Brennan made it, that we placed on Brennan, but Taylor in and of itself definitely was a bust. Anybody
I don't
else?
I don't know that he was the consensus. There's been years where who's going number 1, and I don't know that it was a given that he was going, but it wasn't a bad choice. He was
the top of every he was top of ESPN. He was top of most places. Yeah. Jonathan Taylor was if somebody would have taken Eckler or somebody else, I don't know that it would have been crazy.
Yeah.
But
because if that's the guy you want, that's your one shot of getting him.
But so I was looking at some stuff, and they were talking about you can lump in all of the Broncos players into the biggest busts of the year. Because obviously Russell Wilson was a big bust.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd have to go back and look. Do you remember who drafted him?
No.
But in some leagues, maybe not in ours, but in some leagues he was taken as a quarterback that people kind of had high expectations for. But him being so bad this year affected so many other people.
I think people had higher hopes for Judy and Sutton. And Judy later in the season, when one of them was hurt, but when they both were on the field, Wilson wasn't able to support both of them.
Yeah, and the same thing could be said for Aaron Rodgers. I mean, him being bad kind of hurt. It even ended up hurting kind of the running game. You know what I mean? Like Aaron Jones was never as good as most people would have thought. They truly had like a dual running backfield too, which didn't help things. But I mean, they weren't very explosive. They didn't score a lot of points every week. So that's and then they were talking about Allen Robinson. So one of the big storylines coming into this season was that he's going to rebound. He's going to be good this year, and he just never materialized.
I'm not finding him. Wilson. Oh well. I can't remember who.
Can't you just
Oh, yeah, I guess I could have looked at. I was just looking at the draft recap, but
there's a lot of Wilsons. Drafted 73rd by Sundance Kid.
Ah, there you go.
So 73rd, that's probably I don't know who Brennan's quarterback ended up being.
Yeah, I mean, he drafted him as his only quarterback, so
yeah, so he would plan on him being the starter.
Yeah.
And so, as we talk, like Brennan didn't have the season that he wanted. He ended up with Geno, which was pretty good, but if you stick with Russell for 4 or 5 weeks, I mean, that's going to hurt your.
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of what, I mean, Rennie stuck with Rodgers.
Yeah.
And he was getting under 20 week after week after week. And that's tough to do in a league where you got guys like, Josh Allen, they're getting 40 and Mahomes that are getting 35 to 40. And, that's tough when you get under 20 from your quarterback, which might, we've talked about it kind of a couple different times in the drafting. You wonder if, you always wonder what kind of reaction people will have and whether it'll change their behavior the next draft. And people that fought for quarterback points, are they going to jump and try to get one a little higher? But then that's no guarantee, obviously there were guys that ended up scoring pretty well that would have been available, the Geno Smiths, the now Brock Purdy. I mean, they're getting 20 plus and they weren't even on anybody's radar.
Yeah. So hey, I wanted to do a little game. We'll see how this goes. You're not prepared for it, so but you're a fantasy genius, so I think that you'll be fine. Let's see here. I wanted to try to make sure that we did this right. No, so it won't matter. So we'll just I'll let you start. So I'll let you have the first pick. But if it ends up being like we'll alternate. But when it gets to the time when if it would be yours or mine, we'll get the pick for ourselves, like who we would do. So we're gonna pretend like we're in a league where the team that finished the regular season last gets the first pick. So we're gonna give Danny the first pick. So this is first pick, first round of the 2023 draft. Dave, you're Danny. You're on the clock. Who are you taking with your number 1 pick for 2023?
I think Danny goes Eckler.
Okay. Danny goes Eckler.
I mean, he was a beast.
Yeah,
he was when he didn't get rushing yards, he got receiving yards. He scored a bunch of touchdowns.
Yep. And if I'm Brennan, okay, so Brennan's the second pick. If I'm Brennan, I'm going Justin Jefferson.
Okay. So then me next.
So you're next. You're Ed Harrell. Okay, so you got to put your mind into Ed's mind.
Yeah. I know.
So who's Ed going? Is he going running back? Is he going wide receiver? What's Ed want with the number 3 pick?
Man. I think Ed would take a flyer on somebody like Tyreek Hill.
Okay, Tyreek Hill. That's not super. I mean, based on some of the research I've done, you haven't done any. I've done a little bit.
Well,
That's
I think a
not
healthy
crazy.
Tua coming back after an off season. They had great chemistry.
He's exciting. Ed loves him some excitement. So so that's a good pick. Now we've got Joe Burr. And so, man, if I'm Josh, I think Josh takes a flyer. I think Josh goes Jamar Chase, number 4.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Just because I think it's a homer pick. I think he's like, give me. He loved rooting for Joe Burrow this season. He'd love to root for Jamar Chase. So he's gonna take Chase. Hey, that's 2 places later than he went in the 2022 draft.
Yeah.
All right. So now it is Lee, league champion, defending world champion, and he's got the 5th pick.
I think he's gonna hate himself for it, but he's gonna go Browns and go Nick Chubb.
Oh, he's going Chubb. All right.
Chubb was a beast.
He was.
And that was with Browns not having a quarterback, stable. I don't know if Watson's the answer, but he didn't get to really be the practice as the number 1 and play. And I think it's pretty safe to say now that they don't have a committee because they barely used Hunt.
Yeah.
He was an afterthought.
Oh no, I think it's not a bad choice. Lee, that's better than a Steeler. I think Lee would feel better about a Brown than he would a Steeler.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Now it's Brian Himes' turn, and he's going run CMC.
I can't believe he went that far. I mean, I don't know if you noticed this, but once he got on the 49ers, he basically fell forward and got 15 points every week. It just there was nothing stopping him from at least getting 15.
So you're saying if Brian in the 6th pick would happen to next year get Christian McCaffrey, that'd be a gift at the 6th pick.
I mean, I felt like ended up being.
Yeah. I mean, that just shows you how, because, we talked this past year, taking a look at the first round, man, we didn't, other than Taylor, take Taylor out of it, and Cooper Kupp getting hurt.
Yeah.
But most of the,
I honestly think that the only thing that keeps McCaffrey from being a lockdown first pick is he does have that injury bug that is, but he's been, ever since he came back or been on the 49ers, he's been healthy. I mean, he's got a Q next to his name every week, but he ends up playing.
All right. So your vote flex, you're on the clock.
You picked. Oh man.
Yeah.
Travis.
Man, you got some beasts left.
Yeah, I think Josh Jacobs. You can't let him go any farther.
Okay.
He had the most points, fantasy points.
All right. You get a double up because it's your pick.
Oh, I get my own.
Yep.
Man, I wish I knew who was going to be quarterback for this guy, but Davante Adams was pretty solid.
You're going Davante Adams? So Adam Russell.
And I only say that because it's not real. But
yeah,
because if I knew that they were going to trade for another Rodgers.
Yeah.
You can imagine having those two back together, All right.
So Adam, when you listen to this, you tell me if I'm right or not. Just based on what's happened so far, Adam's taken Travis Kelce.
Oh wow! First round,
he's taking Travis Kelce. That gives me the next pick, and I'm taking Stephon Diggs, and I'm thanking all of you for passing on him.
Yeah, yeah.
No, right, you're up and you've got Rennie. So what do you think? You think that would be? Do you think Adam would actually take Travis Kelce in the first round?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, why wouldn't he?
Okay, so Travis Kelce gone, and then Diggs. That no harm taking him that late, right? With
No.
the what was that, the ninth pick, 8th or 9th?
Yeah, I don't. No, I don't. I mean,
No, the 10th.
the only
pick.
thing
Yeah,
is,
so me
it's the
taking,
same
I took,
as what you've struggled with Juju with Mahomes is Allen doesn't just force feed a ball to one guy.
yeah, no.
You know.
But Diggs proved that he. I mean, he's a deep threat. There's enough, like he just scored. So Stephon Diggs is going to go first to early second round. I mean, that's a
Yeah.
no-brainer. So, all right, you're Rennie. Got to make amends for this.
I'd
past
say this
season.
guy. I mean, he wants to take Derrick Henry, but he won't take Derrick Henry. I think he takes Barkley had a pretty good season. I think he'd go take a flyer on Barkley.
All right, Saquon Barkley, and that leaves Junior. I think Junior takes a flyer on Jonathan Taylor. I think that Colts
Go
are going
from
to
first to 12th. Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah, I think Colts are going to do a lot in the offseason, and I think
that's the kind of
know,
pick though that can win you. You know, if somebody drops like that. This was years and years and years ago, but who's the guy on? I'm blanking. There was a Seattle had a running back that was really good, and for some reason people were souring on him, and I had like the 10th pick, and I got him, and he had a career year.
Not beast mode.
No, this was
Lynch?
this was before that.
Okay.
I'm blanking on his name, but and then I turned around and paired it with somebody good in the second round, and I had like the number 1 back and the number 2 back. You know, if you can hit on that.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, and that's kind of where I ended up with the wide receivers. Like, I was hurting at running back most of the season. It got better as the season went on. Kind of some things flushed out. Getting Connor back helped, but I mean, having Jefferson and Tyreek, like no team next season will have Jefferson and Tyreek Hill on their team on the.
And the same with, like, you know, there's a reason Brian made it to the finals with Chubb and Barkley. You know,
yeah,
he had 2 of the best running backs.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep. Nobody will have them.
And I doubt if that'd be really tough this year. I don't think that'll happen.
So one top player that didn't get mentioned in that is Cooper Kupp. So where do you think he's going to?
Just coming off injury, it's tough to know.
Tough to know. So,
and it just shows there's more than 12 first round, level people, because you could have some guys that could really jump up, like that Detroit wide receiver, St. Brown, another year of growth for him. He could, be a superstar. The only thing I think about, AJ Brown and Devontae Smith is, for AJ Brown, is that he's got that Devontae, 2 guys, and he doesn't just get it all the time. But some of those second year, some of those wide receiver guys, like, I don't see like a Christian Kirk going into the first round or anything, but if Deebo Samuel would have stayed healthy, he was on pace.
I do think that the second and third round will be kind of crazy, right? Like not crazy, but like, I think that you'll see a lot of those guys. People will take some flyers on some guys. I think that based off of this season, it wouldn't surprise me if somebody wanted to go after Josh Allen in the mid to late second round. You know what I mean?
Well,
because they're like, I want him
we
on
left
my team.
out a bunch of guys that were in the, Najee Harris, Dalvin Cook, that were
people that other teams will be
Mixon.
Teams will be excited to get in the second round, right?
Yeah.
Like if you can get a first, and that's kind of how, like, that.
I mean, look, we haven't even mentioned Kamara, because it's like, is his career done? Probably not. He just had an odd year.
And would anybody be surprised if he was the number 2 running back next season?
No, I mean he has
No.
the capability, and
Yeah. So yeah, I think that all of that will. Yeah, man. Just like Rennie, favorite day of the year is draft day. So we got between
start
now.
planning now.
Yeah, we got between now and September to look forward to it. Dave and I took our best guesses of what the first round might look like. We'd love to hear your thoughts. So jump in
Off the cuff
chat.
for me.
What's that?
I said it was off the cuff for me. I hadn't really
You
thought
did pretty
about it like
good. There wasn't really there was nobody that I only pulled up a couple. I pulled up a couple like way too early, you know what I mean,
Okay,
first
okay.
round things and had kind of glanced at them. We didn't really leave off anybody. Cooper Kupp is projected to go super high. He's like
Yeah.
projected at like number 3 or 4 in some of these. I don't feel that way. You didn't feel that way.
Well, normally I would, but I just feel like there's 12 guys that aren't coming off an injury that are pretty good.
Prove this stuff. And there's a little bit of like, we know we got fanboys, right?
Yeah.
Like people who
Well,
like,
and their quarterback situation is, I mean, I think Stafford is, I mean, who knows what's going on with him. So
yeah. But like, would anybody in our league, if you took all 12 of our teams and you offered them Jamar Chase or Cooper Kupp, what are they doing?
in our league,
Yeah.
probably Chase, just because
Yeah.
they're mostly Bengals fans.
Yeah, Bengals fans, and like, I mean, so it's like, the Rams coming off a really down year, their coach might retire, like, who knows what's going to happen with them.
Chase missed a few games and stuff, but he really is different. Like,
Yeah.
He'll catch the ball and take one step and get more yards than most of the other wide receivers.
Did you see that guy just shove him in the end zone after like they played that off like nothing happened, and I'm like, yeah. You excited for dude, you remember when the Bengals used to make the playoffs and they'd play on Saturday at 4:00?
Yeah, and like their playoff hopes were done by 6.
Yeah.
or
Here we are
5:30.
playing. Here we are playing in the playoffs, and they're like, "Oh, you get the Sunday night crew. This is gonna like, I thought with them playing Baltimore, maybe it would be like, maybe they're gonna. It's like, no, we got prime time Sunday night. Man, I'm pumped. Last year was a magical ride. I didn't go into it with these high expectations. We were gonna have to play.
And that's the kind of they're not slipping under anybody's radar this year.
Did we play on the road?
They're good enough to beat everybody.
Did we play on the road all of them?
I don't remember. Probably.
Was Tennessee the first round or the?
I don't remember. That's been a year ago.
I think that maybe the first round game was at home, but I can't remember who we played. We played Tennessee at Tennessee. We played Kansas City at Kansas City. I can't remember what the other playoff game was, but man, it was an exciting, magical run. And man, if they could capture that again, the city will explode.
I know. Like, yeah, I mean, and it's not out of the. I mean, it's not even unlikely.
Yeah, why not us? They got to play us.
FanDuel's got this, because I can bet from my couch now. My
Congratulations, yeah.
They have this promo going. I didn't even know about it. Apparently, Gronk is going to try to kick a field goal at halftime or something.
Yeah.
And so FanDuel's doing this thing where if you bet at least $5 on some sort of Super Bowl future bet, which are pretty near. I mean, how do you pick? You're picking who's going to win the Super Bowl or be in it or something. So I went with the Bengals beating the 49ers, and thinking like into a $5 bet. But by doing that, you get a piece of this pool of money if Gronk kicks a field goal. But like $5 on the Bengals to beat the 49ers, which means, they both have to get there and the Bengals have to win, pays out like $135.
Is that for this season or for next season?
No, for this season. Yeah, for company like just I mean, you're knowing that they're already in the playoffs, so that eliminates,
right.
I imagine if I would have made that bet 8 weeks ago, the payout would have been crazy high.
Right, yeah.
But
so what did you say?
I guess I thought it would be higher, but
yeah. What's the payout?
It's like 130. So it would be like plus 1 or plus $2,600 or something. I don't know, something. So $135.
Yeah.
But I don't expect it, I mean, it'd be great. I mean,
Yeah.
I think I don't know if the 49ers would get that far,
So,
but that'd be something.
yeah. Hey, great season, everybody. Sorry we were a little bit late for the podcast. We were waiting to see what the NFL did with everything. Dave, it's been awesome getting on
Yeah.
here with you every week. Sorry to be MIA during my Christmas vacation stupor.
So maybe we'll give it a month and then we'll start our planning meetings.
Start the planning
Okay.
meetings for the draft. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, if you've got any
planning meetings for podcasts, all our bits and all the stuff that we rehearse all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good
all
idea.
the scripts
too.
that we write, and we have to,
Yeah.
we have to meet with our editors and
Yeah.
the production crew and all
Yeah.
that. So that's going to take a little bit of time.
What I feel like we did this year was a lot more content. Like we had videos that dropped, like just like the matchup spotlight. We
had that, didn't we?
Yeah, we had that. What you wrote it, and then I just got on and said it. So
what was crazy is this team called the Smithereens. They were in it a lot.
They were, yeah.
And they didn't win much.
They won more than you
overall.
Well, I mean, no, you finished third or something like that, didn't you?
Yeah. So,
but I mean, yeah, but I was a 3 seed and you were the 5 seed.
And look where it got you.
And look where it got me. Yeah. So, well, hey, Danny's on the clock for the #1 draft pick. Oh, wait, that's not how we do it.
We don't do it that way.
Yeah.
No.
So,
but I guess I'll try earlier maybe although you've done it the last couple of years. So yeah, whenever you want to do it.
Well, we need to make sure some things. We need to make sure everybody's back. Did we regulate anybody?
Well, and that's the thing. If you're not going to be back, then I'll give you your money. But if you're coming back, then I won't.
Yeah. Let us know if you're back. If you've got any suggestions or comments about some rule changes or some different things we want to add to the league, like, things like flex spot or any of that stuff, make sure you fill in Dave's email address box with all those comments. Okay. So you can just email him. That's d.miller@fsszone.com. And he would love to hear.
Don't use my work email.
Would love to hear all of your suggestions about, just how to make the league better.
You're kind of a jerk, Kevin.
Yeah. Dude, I don't think Travis is a real person. I haven't heard from him all season. So, all right. Dave, thanks, brother. Who Day.
We'll see everybody the week before the draft, or the week after the draft, I guess.
Yeah. Can't wait. We got together for our, I think we talked about it, right? We did a podcast after we had the meet and greet. One last podcast after the meet and greet. That was fun too. So I'm really looking forward to the Hillbilly Harrison Golf Scramble.
Yeah.
So Adam, get that going.
Yep. Excited about that.
All right. You
We'll
guys take care. Great season.